Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Rancher with another some of the retro comic review Transmetropolitan series. We'll be covering Volume 7. Yes, Spider's Trash. Where we left off in Volume 6, Spider had been fired from the Word for exposing quite a bit of for basically bringing to light a lot of dirt concerning the current president. And however, Spider, of course, anticipated this and cleared out his bank account, evacuated his hotel or his apartment, maxed out his credit cards, and him and the filthy assistants were on their own. So we begin the story back to basics. Various newsworthy people are speaking. Robert McX briefly tried to interview Mitchell Royce, the editor of The Word. Yelena's father comments about, Yelena, saying that Yelena's highly intelligent, extremely ethical, and she's working with Jerusalem. That speaks well of him. And if she's hiding with him, it doesn't matter what the reason is. It will be good, it will be right, and it will be the right thing to do. Fred Christ, of course, just opts to shit all over Chen and Yarrow. The Smiler begins making a clear attack on free speech, saying that he, of course, supports free speech, but all things must be taken in moderation. And he also feels that that's something that needs to be strongly communicated to the media. Also, there's a report that large mounds of human bodily waste were found piled on the grave of Alan Schacht. A leaked report believes DNA testing links the turds to, of course, Spider. We also briefly see Mary taking pictures and seeing what's going on. Then the concierge at Avalon's hotel after getting off work, is pulled into an alley and promptly murdered, with his remains being left turned into nothing. His killer gets in a police car and rides away. And so Spider is basically plotting out his next move. As a man commits suicide from the top of a building. But it turns out Spider has a meeting to take with the two people who run The Hole, the feed site that he has been uploading, that he uploaded his delisted column to. And he basically strikes a deal with them. However, he has some. Basically, he wants to make sure that they're not just trying to be edgy and cool, and they're actually, into, letting the truth out. So they go into a bar. Spider promptly throws money at the bartender and asks for 37 drinks immediately. Then goes You know, specifies all 37 must be whiskey. However, he tells Shannon something doesn't feel right. He asks Shannon if her and Elena are armed, and then Spider walks into the men's room. And probably has a gun placed to the side of his head. Upon leaving the men's room, he discovers that a man in a stealth suit has Shannon, Yelena, and the two that run the hole also at gunpoint. Three men all in. There is actually a word given for these suits, basically stealth suits. Spider thinks it's hilarious yeah, okay, clearly you're not here to kill me. You're here to make me realize, oh, you can get to me anytime you want. Well, but Spider kills the two that have guns trained on him, while Yelena kills the other. And the bartender is still pouring out his 37 shots. So, the pair that run the hole ask him just what they've gotten into, and Spider says that if he were to tell them, they'd think he was a classic paranoid. Spider disposes of the bodies. Disguise suits, that's what they're called. With what he bought at the end before leaving his apartment at the end of Volume 6. But yeah, the pair on the whole, they're willing to go all the way with Spider. Spider wants to do it right, and well, they want to do it right too. We get some quick news break stories. And Yelena asks Spider how many people he's killed. The answer is apparently 16. All but one of them was self-defense. Yelena wants to know about it, but he instead opts to leave the room. Walk out into the middle of the street. But Yelena, after does writing is keeping a journal now, and claims she started writing again. Spider would be pleased to know about it if he knew, but he doesn't dare tell Spider because, well, Spider would want to read it. And she's not ready for that. But she's got to get what's happening down on paper so she can get it out of her head. Apparently Spider has just left the hotel, gone out into the streets, or displaying himself in front of the public. And she goes on to say that when she first met Spider, she thought he was mad. After a while, he realized he was just angry. Now, she started to wonder if he's ill. Because he's starting to forget things. As things continue, what is that jerk-off's name? Robert McX goes to talk to the basically his research team, who are, as far as McX can tell, worthless. But they have stumbled upon Spider's latest column on the whole. Good morning, my dirty little city. My name is Spider Jerusalem. I used to write for a newspaper called The Word, but they decided they didn't like me anymore because I did a bad thing. I followed all their rules, but I just kept on telling the truth. So they fired me. But now I'm free and on the loose, which I don't think was the desired effect. There are now people all over town muttering, "He's not dead. Shit, this is awkward." No, I'm not dead. I cannot be killed. My own assistants have tried to kill me, but, like Rasputin, I notice not the poison and laugh at their ice picks. Shoot me in the lungs and I'll snarl and spit nicotine tar at you from the bullet holes. You thought I was dead, but I sailed away on a wave of mutilation. And now I'm back. The big rock in front of the cave rolled away, gnawing on my nail holes and wondering which Roman ass to kick first. Because I'm not back to have fun. Oh no, I'm back to do business. I'm in a fine tradition of city businessmen with sickening motives, though. Do not fear. I take, for instance, political resurrectee Fred Christ, humiliated one-time transient activist turned transient religious supremo. Should be noted that the return of Spider's mysterious nosebleeds has occurred. Now here's the thing. Fred's fraudulent church has already been exposed as part financing the VAT-grown ringer vice presidential candidate run by right-wing elements of the party previously in opposition as the Smiler's running mate. And he somehow got away with that. Just a slap on the wrist, because no one wanted to prosecute a religious representative of a minority group so recently traumatized by the rigged transient riots of 3 years ago. Fred's a fake. No, he's worse. He's a knowing, callous fake whose lies and personal agenda repeatedly expose those around him to lethal danger and criminal prosecution. Fred Christ is alleged by infamous longtime city pimp Lindsay Bishop, who also employed at the Hotel Avalon, to have paid for the transient prostitutes Bishop admits he had sent to Gary Callahan's suite at the Avalon when he was on the stump here last year. You then see Fred being loaded into a city PD car, and the two that run the whole are enjoying the fact that their readership numbers have gone through the roof. But, enough of filthy politics and the unbounded fuckery of our president, fuckery and foul dealings that I, of course, was fired from a major metropolitan newspaper for discussing. His attractive and intelligent wife remains essentially trapped in California with her children, wondering what she did to deserve such callous treatment, other than to somehow love the grinning bastard. No wonder their oldest child's been found wandering the streets of his town full of enough booze and uppers to make 6 hippos shit themselves and sprint, shooting out windows of the Ruger Super Blackhawk and proclaiming to neighbors and cops that "You can't touch me, pigs, my dad runs the fucking country. Borberg." Enough of that. Let me tell you how it's going to be. I am free to write what I want, when I want, and you have to come to me to read me. This is not the same deal as picking up a newspaper for the sports and the TV listens and getting a piece of me, too. You actually have to sit down and poke your feed site reader and come to me. And I will tell you things that will make you laugh, and I will tell you things that will make you uncomfortable, and I will tell you things that make you really angry, and I will tell you things that no one else is telling you. What I won't do is bullshit you. I'm here for the same thing you are. My name's Spider Jerusalem, and here's the horrible truth. I'm just like you. I live down the street with you. I know what it's like down here, and I know, possibly better than you, how bad it gets. And I know whose fault it is. We're all stuck here together after all. Might as well make the best of it. And after the column, Spider and the assistants are having coffee together, and Elaine asks, "Now what? Now what do we do?" Okay, he's writing, and he's writing what he wants to write, and he has a broadcaster for it. But it's not a job, he's not getting paid, and they're not getting paid. They can't live off Spider's money forever. Spider explains that What they're doing isn't a job anymore. It's a mission. That mission is bring down the presidency. And now we get to quite possibly one of the most disturbing stories I've read in the entirety of this comic so far, called Business. By and large, I'm going to be kind of glossing over a lot of it because there's not a very YouTube-friendly way to talk about the story. It deals with very young prostitutes, illegally so, and what they go through. Spider talks to some of them, goes to the home they live in, talks to the person who runs the home, who kind of explains a great deal to him that it's not the home that's messing them up. It's where they were before the home that messed them up. But nobody wants to hear that. Next, we get a collection of musings from the city. We have a guy who talking about the green people and street weasels. We have another one talking about the American Unseen Society. The other one claiming that she was brought to Earth 12,113 years previously by the moon. Or that the moon was brought here 12,113 years ago, and it's a base carrying extraterrestrials that came here to colonize. Many of what's left of them are living underground on Earth, 100 miles below the surface. Various oddballs with crazy conspiracy theories. Which brings us to a column. More crazy people on the street than there used to be. I mean, there's always been crazy people on the street. This is nothing new. But in some districts, the population is getting denser. The districts most of you don't go to, of course. Here's how it works. Mental hospitals are expensive places to run. Most mentally ill people either start out poor or quickly become poor. Therefore, their care becomes a cost to the state. And the state don't like that. Oh no. So, here in the city, the mental hospital goes to Civic Center and says, we can't afford the bed for mad person A. It would in fact be cheaper to put mad person A in a hostel or a rented room than maintain them here. Give us permission to ship mad person A to the hell out of here. This program is called Care in the Community. As you can see, it's working wonderfully. I first noticed how deep the transitioning of mental patients from institutions to the street had become when I saw a bunch of revival bashers working over a guy outside a drugstore. Except it wasn't a revival they were beating up. It was some poor bastard with a head full of busted wire and he started jabbering about God and the devil. The basic gist of it being that every second of this guy's life, both God and the devil were talking to him. And he spent every second he was alive trying to fend them off. Spider actually thinks this guy's one of the brightest people he's ever met. So, now we talk to the proprietor of Trangmar's Discount Guns and Ice Cream, who explains that there were talking about a purchase made previously. Spider shows a picture confirming that, yes, Alan Schacht was involved in the assassination of Vita Severn. They now have confirmation that a revival was the hitter. Spider muses, however, after another one of the mysterious nosebleeds. Also, a very nice nod to Watchmen, I might add. Something that genuinely frightens him is that he won't get to finish this. As for the quick nod to Watchmen, let's take a look at the smiley face button that Spider wears. A little drop of blood on it. Yelena and Shannon talk about Spider. With Yelena explaining that Spider isn't well. She's been covering for it, but he's definitely having blackouts. Shannon asks what to do, but right now there's nothing to do about it. He can't be talked about. You can't talk to Spider about that kind of thing. He can't be questioned. Shannon thinks maybe it's the drugs. Yelena thinks that it doesn't think it's the drugs, or at least not just the drugs. But she thinks he is genuinely ill. Well, they catch up with Spider, and Spider explains that now he's going to write glorious about mad people in the street and the stories they have, the system that put them there, but most of the stories make it real. We get a brief bit with the Smiler, talking about the care system of the country. And basically kind of saying, yeah, so Spider Tourism made a crack about the care for the community system. Well, it's not going to change. We also learn a little bit about Spider. Apparently his name was supposed to be Django Heraclitus Jerusalem. But he came out a skinny baby, and his mother had very bad eyesight and 3 different neurological difficulties at the time. So, Spider it was. Another column begins the next and final portion of this. Main road, Roman road, they used to call it. Straight and true, it runs right through the center of the city, from edge to edge, dead straight. First road laid down here. Stride Alley, shortest access road in the city. 5 bodies found here in the last 9 weeks. Second and Hartley, first porno street in the city, filled up with dealers supplying the city builders. It got rezoned by Civic Center last week, following a change of presidential policy. There's schools within sniper distance, so the porno zone is being squeezed to half a block, for now. The president is officially studying the Constitution in order to protect the people from outmoded language and ideas therein. This used to be a middle-class residential street. A sequence of terrorist events cleared the local housing, but the school in the middle stayed open. The housing was taken over by the local criminal element. Within 5 years, the school was largely attended by children of prostitutes and addicts. So the city school system cut its funding down to bare minimum, even as its class sizes grew over 50 per. Because they were children of whores and junkies, so why waste resources on them? The cheap, dangerous, and poisoned housing projects that spurred off the northern tip of Main Road are being torn down, as were the Spider's electoral promises. He said that no one should have to be punished by living in these, and that he would see them destroyed. Note carefully how he said nothing about finding the inhabitants anywhere else to live. My city changes by the second, but the history of the places is never erased. Cities wear scars deep. The problem with no one knowing what year it is that we have to define backwards, as it were. Therefore, because it's difficult to refer back to the past, we tend to live in the present moment a lot more than we used to, or at least than we presume we used to. And as street name change and buildings' natures change, we lose sight of the forces that shape the city. Take this place. This is 18th and Goad. And this monstrosity used to be called the Old Civic Center building until about a century ago. And for 50 years afterward, Goad was called Bad Heart Street. The new city militia sniper wing fired cardiac overclocker bombs into the building from across the street. Anyone inside the bomb's mission radius found their heart working at 10,000% of top efficiency. When two-thirds of the staff were ejecting their hearts out through their ribs, and the air attack wing lobbed in grenades, boarded and went hand-to-hand with the survivors. The city was actually without government for a 2-year period, during which time the militia reenacted most of the French Revolution and eventually executed each other with handheld guillotines. How well do you know your city? Do you have any idea what your homes and streets are built on? A 100 years ago, this entire block burned down. 2,000 people burned alive in a flash blaze that consumed the whole place in under 30 minutes, according to the authorities, and under 5, according to the eyewitnesses. The blaze was found to have emanated from an apartment building room in the center of the block, and that room alone was untouched by the fire. And the room was abandoned. Freshly cooked food found cooling on the stove, a pencil dropped on the table, in the very act of writing. Writing what? No one's yet entirely sure. The place was covered in pages of arcane mathematical scrawl. They eventually found their way into the hands of a university who studied them at CPD's behest. The scrawl appeared to comprise 3 equations. The 3 equations seemed to represent a machine. A machine that was just 3 ideas in motion around each other. Solving the equations activated the machine. It took a full 10 years to evolve any workable theories as to what the creator, a half-educated 70-year-old man who worked as a janitor for fully 50 years of his life, was trying to do. He himself had to invent his own mathematical language to do half the work. It took a full 10 years before someone worked out there was a machine intended to make another city, a better city. There was mathematical expressions of ethics and love and dignity in his paperwork. For a moment there, that guy must have seen another world opening up before him, a better world, a good city. Then the flaw in his math kicked in and the block was incinerated. 50 years to invent the math to remake the city as a good and right place to live. And he fucked it up and killed hundreds of people in the fucking up of it. And he was never seen again. That sort of thing marks the city. And yeah, the years kicked dust over the mark, covered up, but it's still there. Still affects everything around it. This area has had, for 99 years, the highest suicide rate in the city. In fact, this block skews the overall suicide figures for the city so hard that the city has the highest suicide rate of all cities on Earth except Calcutta. This place just breaks your heart. But, as much as it hurts, look at it. Burn it into your eyes, because it may not be the same tomorrow, and you'll never get that moment back. Save your city in your memory, because tomorrow something will be knocked down or rebuilt to match its own new moment. This place is constantly being remade. We ran out of new land a while ago. So we reuse and reinvent and revamp and lose track of time because we're so busy trying to inhabit this single second of now as fully as we can. The past is in the way of the present. Kick it down, make way for right the fuck now. I used to hate that. But these days I feel as chased by time as the rest of the city. Like the rest of you, the past doesn't matter and the future isn't promised to you. So it's just the moment we're in. And Spider takes some pain pills. Hiroshima strength. Oh, pulls out his pocket recorder. And begins to make a recording for Chad and Yelena. Instructions. Should he not be able to give them when the time comes. Simply put, the things that he needs them to do if he dies too quickly. The issue ends, however, with the Smiler torturing a spider on his desk, pulling off its legs with a pen, and, of course, smiling. Oh, I was wrong, actually. It's not Spider's Trash, it's Spider's Thrash. Alright, that's it for Volume 7. Definitely bringing up some interesting ideas, and the fact that maybe Spider doesn't make it out of the series alive. That's it for now. We'll be back tomorrow with the weekly comic book roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.